Hi and welcome to Lockdown in Spain. In this episode we're going to chat with Gardner, who's based in Boardwalk in Marbella, and find out exactly what life is like living under lockdown. So, hi Lee, can you tell us a bit about where you are?
Okay, I'm based in Portimonús in the Marbella area of Spain, the Costa del Sol. And I'm currently on lockdown in my apartment.
Yeah, and how long have you guys been in lockdown now in Spain?
Today is the start of the third week, officially. They was advising social distancing a little bit before that, but they really did sort of put it into full effect 2 weeks or two weeks and a day ago today. As of today, there's a big tightening up of the restrictions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were sort of allowing people to go to work if you was builders and you was working on your own. They were sort of making allowances. I work for a radio station, Beachgrooves radio, and obviously the daily show there that I do, it's good for relaying information, etc. So we was given passes, and I generally work on my own, so we was able to go to work. But as of yesterday or as of today, that is all stopped now.
Oh wow, I didn't realise. So for you guys in Spain, you haven't actually got radio, because in the UK they're still running like Radio 1 and everything.
The radio's broadcasting. Some of the DJs are doing live broadcasts from home. Some of it is just literally playlists with public announcements going over the top, recorded jingles. But part of my job at the radio station is I work in the recording studio side as well, so I help record the jingles and the social announcements and stuff like that.
How are they enforcing that? What are they imposing on you guys?
Well, I mean, basically, I don't know anyone that it's happened to, but there's a fine system in place. If you're a habitual breaker of the law, they can put you into prison for breaking any of the lockdown laws. I know there's been a couple of mad stories. There was a guy, I believe it was in Madrid, that was renting out his dogs and was advertising on WhatsApp so that people could get out and have a walk. He's been arrested. And I think there was someone in Tenerife that was doing something similar.
And how are you coping with the situation? How is it making you feel?
To be honest with you, I mean, it's frustrating in some regards because it stops me working to my full capability. Obviously, as I said, I work for the radio station, which means I can't do my daily show as of today. But I also work in the recording studio. I had an artist that we was working on an album with. We had momentum going. Something like that is something you do over a sustained period of time. We're 3 days in, and it was cut off 2 weeks ago. We haven't been able to work on things, and that's frustrating. But in the scheme of things, it's not really that effective. I can do a lot of my job from home. Also work for a social media company, BeApp, and obviously that sort of work doesn't matter. I can do that. The DJing side of things, I can still work on music to a certain degree, but there are limitations, and it's just, I think it's about adapting and working within those limitations and trying not to get frustrated. Don't worry about the things you can't change. Work with the things you can and try and, we've known each other a very long time. I'm the eternal optimist, and I generally am a positive person. Yeah. But I can truly understand that there are people out there that are getting frustrated, especially because of the financial implications. There's obviously a lot going on in regards to no one knows what's happening with rents getting put to one side for a couple of months. There was talk of that, mortgages payments being put back for 2 months so that people had time to sort of reevaluate and spend the money on what's needed. But there's no real definition of what's actually happening with that. So
are you finding that the Spanish government isn't being very supportive in what you need? Is it not being very clear and outlining exactly what benefits and help you can get?
I think on the whole, the Spanish government dealt with it very well. If you compare the situation to China and to Italy, which obviously before us were the main two hotspots, they dealt with it very, very quickly. It was very swift with the lockdown. People have been amazing here. I mean, everyone's been really, really good in regards from what I've seen in respect to the lockdown. But obviously, financial implications and stuff like that, there's no legislation for this. It's okay saying that you're not going to pay rent to someone because you can't afford it, you're not working, but that landlord probably earns his money from getting his rent. He's got mortgages. There's a knock-on effect to everything. What it really comes down to is, once again, employing common sense. I hope that the banks and the governments can do that in regards to, if someone genuinely can't afford to pay their rent, if someone genuinely relies on that rent to pay the mortgage, then that has to be taken into consideration.
And have you found that these kindnesses, has the lockdown created any more kind of good community vibes and feelings?
I mean, wow. That is all I can say when you say that, because I've got goosebumps actually. I've seen so much of it. It's absolutely amazing. I'm actually getting quite emotional talking about it. There's a very good friend of mine, Cara. She is out every single day. She owns a restaurant. The restaurants have just been told they can't deliver food anymore. I know a place called Boardwalk Marbella. There you go. Nice little name drop for you, Cara, there on the vlog. But yeah, she does everything she gets. She's literally put together a little team, and they're all working to make sure that the people that are really below the poverty line are getting some sort of help. She's dealing with sort of illegal immigrants, people that are homeless, etc. I mean, she phoned me the other day. I mean, literally, I don't know how she deals with it on a personal level, but she had a phone call from a mother whose boyfriend had decided to just up and leave her. She's a Brazilian illegal immigrant. She went back to the house. The locks had been changed. She had 2 babies in her arms. She had nowhere to live. She had no nappies, no food or anything. They managed to get her someone who has a caravan here. They managed to put her into a caravan, kitted her out with some food and some nappies, and obviously now they're keeping a constant eye on her. That's one of 20 stories that she could tell you. She's getting 10 calls a day. Wow. And she's out constantly dealing with this. There's Steve Wiley. I'm going to name drop because I love and respect these people, and they deserve some props. Yeah. His work with animals over here is legendary anyway, and he's going the extra mile. There's 350 stray dogs that are housed in a dog shelter here that need walking on a daily basis, or as much as they can. And Steve's actively involved in that with others, people who volunteer, and the interaction between neighbours and stuff. Yeah. At 8 o'clock every night here, there's everyone comes out the balconies, claps and cheers and whistles as a thank you to the health services and the police services. Goosebumps. It's amazing. And everyone participates. It's very emotional. Yeah, yesterday there was a guy in our apartment block. Normally on a Sunday, if someone had his music on loud, I would be round and kicking his door in. But he was he was playing his Spanish music yesterday. I don't understand all the lyrics, as you know. I'm quite ignorant to the Spanish language, to my detriment. But it was obviously positive songs and everything, and people was out on their balconies singing and clapping and cheering, and that went on for like an hour and a half yesterday. But BeApp, who I work for, our app has come into its own here. It's a way of connecting with people without knowing their name, without knowing their social media addresses. You can just see their face. If you can see them, click on them and make contact. We've had stories from people who are using the app to check on their neighbours. It's like. You live here, you walk past your neighbour maybe every day. You give them a nod. They might be out walking their dog while you're walking your dog. You nod to each other. Hello, mate. How are you? That's probably as far as it goes. I don't know your name. I don't know your social media accounts. But you live 20 foot away from me, and I can't knock on your door because there's social restrictions. How do I make sure that you're okay? Because I would feel awful if they come and drag a body out of my next door neighbour's apartment, and I haven't done anything. And the app, we've had stories of people saying they've used the app, they've connected with their neighbour, and they're just making sure they're okay. And that community feeling, I think, is certainly a positive that I'm going to take out of it. Do
you think that the world is going to be different as a result of this virus?
Once again, Lee the optimist will put the sunshine on it. I do. I really do. I'm an 88 child. I come out the summer of love. That was influenced by a different kind of virus, but that created a massive community spirit. It brought people together. Back then, it was about football teams, hooligans fighting and arguing and blah blah blah. This and that had the ability to bring people together. It created a new community, a new tribe, if you like, and the positives that came out of that, we're still feeling the benefit today. I really hope that the same sort of thing comes from this, from something that is so negative. I can already see positives. I can see like big shoots of positivity coming out of this already. I think people are respecting the police force a lot more here, which, as you know, is not always the case, especially from the English community. Let's be honest. People are looking out for each other. Loads of stories of people deferring payments and just small little sacrifices that don't cost anyone really anything.
Yeah, perfect. Do you think that maybe it will knit the Spanish and the English communities together a bit more?
There is definitely a change in attitude.
There is a sense of we're all in this together to fight.
Definitely. There's a lot of positivity out there. And you've got to remember, these guys working in the supermarket, they're putting themselves at risk as well. I mean, they're dealing with potentially thousands of people a day. And just one of those people needs to have it. I'm dealing with one cashier. I would avoid everyone in the supermarket. My exposure is limited. These people are are putting themselves on the line, and you know, that needs to be respected. And I think it is, and I think they are feeling the positivity back about the Spanish and English, you know, being more of a community. I really do hope that comes out of it. I think that would make for the biggest positive I could take out of this.
Yeah, perfect. And are you yourself worried about catching corona?
I'm once again the eternal optimist. I mean, since this, I work pretty much on my own anyway. You know me, even when I'm in a nightclub, I'm in the little DJ box, and no one can get near me. So I'm pretty much, I don't catch colds of that very often because I'm not in social situations and stuff like that. So my exposure to it would have been limited before it was an issue, and since it's become an issue, I've adhered to everything. At the end of the day, you know, all these things are there to keep you safe. You know, most of it's common sense. It's about decreasing your risk factor, and I've done that to a certain degree. But certainly, I'm not arrogant to the fact that it couldn't happen. It could. You know, I'll make sure that there's plenty of vitamins in the house. I'm not really one for taking vitamins. I generally eat quite healthy, but I have been making sure I've been getting my vitamin tablets just to make sure my immune system is as high as it can be. And you know, if heaven forbid, touch wood, I can get over it quickly and hopefully won't be one of the unlucky ones.
Okay, and any last final messages that you want to give out to, any messages of support?
The only message I would want to give people is, listen, if you're going to be holed up in the same place with the same people for a long time, think about why that person in that room, in that apartment, in that house. It's because you love them, because, you know, you've got a bond. Don't let the little things get in the way.
Yeah, perfect.
This holiday at home with you and my TV. And oh my God, I miss the seaside and the hustling and bustling of workmen in the street. So I'll sit on my settee and pray to God this lonely quarantine puts the love back in, the lovelessness and hope inside a dream, a dream.